So it looks like Wall Street and analysts are not even catching this one. I didn't even catch it right off the bat, but taking a closer look at the 8K filing, it looks like we're all going to get a settlement payout because of this court litigation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into all of this information and what this means for our positioning. What could this lead to in terms of a MOAS or a short squeeze? Give you guys my commentary after we get into the actual 8K filing. So I want to focus on this right here, this paragraph. It says settlement payment in Class A common stock. Final settlement of the shareholder litigation will be subject to a formal settlement agreement and a formal court approval. However, in order to allow the status quo order to be lifted now and permit the conversion of AMC preferred equity units into Class A common stock to proceed, the company has agreed to make a settlement payment to the plaintiff's class in the form of Class A common stock, the settlement payment in parentheses. Now, the actual wording is important here. If we continue on, the obligation to make the settlement payment only arises if the status quo order has been lifted and the conversion has taken place. Subject to these conditions, the company on behalf of the named plaintiffs has agreed promptly following the conversion to make a settlement payment to the record holders of the Class A common stock as of the settlement class time as defined below. The settlement payment will consist of 1 share of Class A common stock for every 7.5 shares of Class A common stock owned by such record holders as the settlement as of the settlement class time after giving effect to the reverse stock split based on 51, almost 52 million shares of Class A common stock post-reverse stock split held by the plaintiff's class of March 31st, 2023. An aggregate of almost 7 million shares of Class A common stock would be issued in the settlement payment, with a total estimated 156 million shares of Class A common stock outstanding immediately after giving effect to the conversion of AMC preferred equity units into Class A common stock post-reverse stock split conversion based on AMC preferred equity units outstanding as of March 31st. It says the settlement payout would represent approximately 4.4% of the outstanding Class A common stock on a pro forma basis. Now, what this is saying is all AMC shareholders as of March 31st will get paid out 1 share of AMC post-split for every 7.5 shares that you own. So essentially, let's say, from my understanding, if you own 100 shares of AMC right now, then on a 1-for-10 reverse stock split basis, you're going to get, what, 10 shares, right? And then for every, essentially, if you own 100 shares right now, 7.5 shares, you're going to get additional on top of those 10 shares. So you're going to own 17.5 shares after the reverse stock split is actually finalized. So you're basically going to get a pretty decent size payout. It looks like almost 5% of the outstanding Class A common stock on a pro forma basis. So it looks like if you owned 100 shares right now, you're going to have about 17.5 shares after this reverse stock split, as long as you owned AMC as of March 31st. At least that is what this looks like to me. And just to reread it again, it says the settlement payment will consist of 1 share of Class A common stock for every 7.5 shares of Class A common stock owned by such record holders of the settlement class time. 52 million shares as of Class A common stock post-reverse stock split held by the plaintiff's class as of March 31st. So you're going to get paid out in aggregate about 52 million shares in actual payment. That's going to go to all class action holders of AMC as of March 31st. So this is pretty interesting because you are not reading anything on this yet. It looks like a lot of people, especially analysts, don't really see this as of right now. You're not even seeing this hitting news outlets. You really have to get into the nitty-gritty details of this 8K filing to actually see this payout essentially goes to everyone, and I think that's why I initially missed it right off the bat. But I did want to give you guys this clarification so we can all be on the same page and all have the same information. So as of what this does and means for AMC. Now, specifically, I think this is pretty big because after this reverse stock split, AMC is going to own up to $16 billion of capital based off of this whole reverse stock split. They're going to be able to raise up to $16 billion. Now, what that means for AMC and the actual share price here, one, it means that AMC is not going to be, one, in any terms close to bankruptcy. There's not going to be a short thesis on AMC, and especially if you take a look at AMC's float and what the market cap of AMC currently is. The market cap, let's go ahead and pull it up. The market cap is about $2 billion right now. So if AMC raises $16 billion, in theory, right, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but if AMC does pay down their debt, let's say they have $10 billion of cash in the bank, that should 5x the stock based off of those numbers alone, based off of what would be the book value of AMC at that point. That would put AMC at about $40 right now. If you do a 10x conversion based off of the reverse stock split price, that would put the stock around $500. Now, obviously, when all things are settled out, it's probably not going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. It's probably not going to affect the stock in that way, but it does show you that there could be a lot of upside from here, and that's not even in regards to shorts actually covering out those short positions, because after all, if AMC is debt-free, if AMC has $10 billion, let's call it, in the bank, let's just say they raise $10 billion or even $8 billion, right? Let's say they pay off all their debt worth about $5 billion, and they got $3 billion in the bank, $4 billion, $5 billion in the bank. That's going to be a very big deal based off the market capitalization of AMC right now. That should send AMC stock much higher. Not to mention shorts covering on their short positions. And this is ultimately why every time AMC has raised capital in the past, the stock has actually rallied. It's because the short thesis, the short case on AMC is all but going away. And especially if you pay off the debt, there is no short thesis left. That 25% short interest of the float still needs to be bought back. It still needs to be closed out, and it still needs to be covered. So I think that is pretty exciting in those terms, and I think it's worth acknowledging, right? And you can see right here some analyst commentary, right? This is what we talked about in the last video. This actually, the $16 billion number comes from an analyst named Eric Wold from B. Riley Securities. He does have a $4.50 price target on AMC and rates the stock as neutral. So I think you're going to get a lot more optimism on AMC after this reverse stock split. And believe it or not, I think this could be really the last step before you do get the MOAS. Ultimately, AMC and Adam Aron, right? Really Adam Aron. Some of the directors don't own that many shares of AMC, but Adam Aron specifically owns a lot of AMC, and I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think if there was one person that I would bet on, it would be Adam Aron in this equation, because yeah, making money for people, that's great and all, but I think it's safe to say that if Adam Aron has its own money on the line, then he has the incentive to make AMC go through a short squeeze. At that time, he can't even be blamed for selling stock if the MOAS does happen. So I do think for all of these reasons stated here in this video, you probably do get the MOAS after the reverse stock split. Now, after April 27th, I think you could get a lot more volatility from the simple fact of shorts and this arbitrage trade being essentially over with. Some shorts might opt to cover out of their short positions, or they might ride it through the reverse split. Either way, I think after that split, after AMC does raise billions and billions of dollars in capital, on the high end $16 billion, more reasonable like 8 to 10 billion, that is going to be a colossal step in AMC's business, and that will definitely go down in the history books. And I think this is an ultimate checkmate for all of these shorts that are short in AMC stock, guys. So this is really just my commentary on this. I did want to clear the air that we will all be getting, essentially, the best way to look at this, if you own 100 shares of AMC right now, about 7.5 shares post-split, which that post-split price is going to be pretty high. So it's a pretty big settlement overall for us shareholders. And I think that is something that should be cleared up here in this video. And I do ultimately think after AMC does raise that much capital, you are on the doorstep of seeing the MOAS, guys. So that is going to do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.